nice thing, I made that intro in Photoshop, believe it or not, that little video intro. Anyway, episode 18. Welcome, everybody. As always, I am your host, Duck. Welcome to another edition of Learn Photography with Duck. I wanted to do something today with sky replacement, simply because Lightroom, if you don't know, if you haven't done it yet, Lightroom just came out with an update. Okay. They not a lot of like really significant things, to really go woo about, but enough to kind of say, hey, we need to rewrite your database. So if you do an update for the latest version of Lightroom, you're going to need to have your database updated because they're introducing some new things. And every time the new things get in, they need to put in the little slot for the library to store that information in into the database. So that actually took me a while. If you have a very large library, of images like I do, it's going to take you a bit to update that catalog upgrade. So just so you know. A couple of things that I do want to point out. Oh, now before I go further, like I said, I wanted to talk about doing like sky replacements, simply because Lightroom has gotten a lot better with their masking. It can be questionable depending on what you're masking, but I wanted to kind of play around with it because I know a lot of you do a lot of nature stuff. So I wanted to do a sky replacement. But unfortunately, the weather has been kind of crappy. Between the weather and my being busy, I did not get out to shoot some sample photos. So I'll postpone that for next week. We'll talk about sky replacements next week, and all kinds of good stuff. We'll also delve into keywording and using smart collections at that time as well. So that's going to be coming down the pike. But because we did the update today, the latest version of Lightroom, there are a couple of things that I do want to discuss. One of them, it got introduced a while back, but they've made some adjustments, made the process a little bit better with the assisted culling. They also they added a bunch of stuff to the filtering. So let me go ahead and switch over to the desktop and let me share. Where is my share? Here it is. Share that. Okay. All right. So these are images that I took at locally here at a Flag Day celebration. Oh, what happened to my
desktop fell out?
Oh, why is my desktop not? Huh. Okay, let me close that. Let me try again. Projector, new window. There we go. And then for some reason, my camera is like really large. What the heck happened? And it's blocking out a whole section. Let's see, present, studio, present. All right. Well, I'm going to, let's see, can we do it?
Here.
Oh, it made, every time Let's see, let's put it here. Oh, that's not working either.
Monday.
Yeah. All right. All right, I'm going to do it with it off because obviously something happened with my okay, are we still sharing? No, we're not sharing. God, you're right. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. Projector. There we go. Share. Good. Yes, maybe. Okay. Everybody see my desktop now?
Lightroom's up.
Lightroom. Yes. Okay. What you're not going to see is you're not going to see me because for some reason, you know, it screwed up the size of my window there. It's like
bottom. You're on the bottom again.
I am, but it's not where I originally placed it. So I'm just going to turn it off. You don't need to see me anyway. Okay. So a couple of things. When you have a large collection, one of the things you want to be able to do is to be able to filter out, you know, certain things from view, either put them into view or take them out of view, depending on what it is that you want to do. So for the most part, we've had, okay, and where's my spotlight? Where's my spotlight? There's my spotlight. Okay, right here at the very, very, very top. Okay. Is the text. Actually, let me get rid of that and do this. You can filter by text, by attribute, by metadata, or nothing at all. Okay. The one that I tend to use a lot is the attribute, simply because I use things like flags and colors. Not so much stars. I'm not a big fan of stars. I don't use them all that much. But flag states and color states, I tend to use quite often. So I'm always going into this little attribute filter bar and making my selections. So for example, you know, I've already shot this, I've already gone through and I've already delivered the images to the client. So what you're looking at is the finished state. Okay. And I've discussed this in the past. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and add those two together. All right. So the first thing I tend to do is I'm going to go ahead and cull through the images and pick out which ones I want to edit, which ones I want to, you know, deliver to my client. Now, one of the things that they introduced not too long ago is this assisted culling. And I touched on it briefly when it was first introduced, but I'm going to, you know, talk about it because they supposedly made it a little bit better. I don't know. I still have my doubts about the usability of this tool. Okay. Obviously, it's supposed to help speed up the process of making selections. However, I find that what the machine thinks is a bad image is not what I think is a bad image, and vice versa, you know? So I've pretty much come to the conclusion that this is a useless tool. Okay. So for example, The first thing it says, okay, we have two sections. We have a criteria for making selections, and then we have a criteria for making rejections. Okay. So the criteria for making selections is the subject in focus? So if you have that selected, it's going to look through the whole thing and it's going to see whether the subject is in focus or out of focus. And it's going to make so, you know, it's going to keep the ones that are in focus, and it's going to flag all the out of focus images. Okay. And that's all it's doing. It's just basically flagging things. All right. And then, of course, we have the same thing with, are the eyes in focus? So if you are like a portrait photographer, are the eyes in focus? All right. Or better case is, are the eyes open? Okay. So these here, in my opinion, are geared more towards the portrait photographer, not so much the casual photographer, and definitely not the product photographer like me, because, you know, if I'm shooting products, neither one of these come into play. But the subject focus, that one does kind of come into play. All right. And if you see, as soon as I click on that subject focus, you're going to notice that up in the upper right-hand corner of your film, of the grid view, are going to be these little icons. And it's going to be a green, all right, if the subject is in focus, all right, or a red X if the subject is out of focus, according to the threshold. So what does this threshold mean? You have a little slider here. All right, so sharp and soft. You can kind of manipulate that. All right, so for example, if you're doing portraiture and you are using a soft focus technique, well, you know, you might want to ease up on the subject focus readability. And of course, it's using AI to analyze these images, okay? But what I find is that sometimes, let me put this back, you know, in the center here. Like, for example, this one here, it says that it's out of focus, or does not, is not within the whatchamacallit, within the range of focus that I want. All right, and you can see that if this was, you know, it's in focus right here, okay, but this was an initial test shot just to kind of get my exposure. I had just arrived at the location. All right. So I wanted to, you know, I was setting up my flash, I was setting up my exposure, and you can see there's really nobody here. So the AI sees this and says, okay, well, you know, I'm seeing activity all the way in the back here. This is what it considers the subject to be, and it's out of focus. All right. So it's going to say no. All right. And I can live with that. I can understand that. But what happens is, in some other cases, and I don't know if I'll be able to find one now. Let's see. Here we go. Actually, let's see if I can find one that's already been flagged. All right. So any of these. Oh, here's another feature. Okay. So for example, here I am. I'm trying to find out, okay, we got subject focus. I set my parameters here, all right? And I say, okay, it's showing me everything in that folder, but I just want to see what it flagged as being rejects, okay? So further down, we have a section called review, all right? And we have 3 options. And right now, by default, you're going to see that the all is selected. So that means that all your images are going to remain in the preview panel, okay? But I just want to see the reject. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come where it says rejects, and I'm going to click on that. And here, it's just going to present me with all the images that the camera or the software thinks are rejects, okay? Now, I want to remind you, I've already gone through these. I've already selected these as keepers. These are what was delivered, all right? But you can see that these all have an X, all right? So let's take a look. If we look forward, okay? Give it a second, all right? This is my subject right here. I was capturing these 2 guys talking, not the best angle, but you know, they're in relatively, you know, good focus here. All right. But the software is probably, and I'm just taking a wild guess, it's probably thinking, you know, because it's more centralized, it's using the center part of the image. Okay. If we look at that, that's definitely out of focus. All right. And that's probably why it flagged it. So this is one of the reasons why I'm a little bit hesitant of giving up all my selection abilities to the software. Okay. Here's another one. All right. This is the mayor of the town. This is definitely, he is the subject of the image, and he is, in this particular case, as you can see, dead center. But for some reason, it labeled this as being slightly out of focus. All right. And I don't know if it's picking up this guy, if it's picking up these people in the corner. I don't know. But overall, I don't know why this got rejected. Okay. So take it with a grain of sand. I've come to the conclusion that this particular tool at this time, the way it's set up, is pretty useless to me. Okay. For the reject, all right, the criteria are, you know, anything that are exposure issues, misfires, and I don't know what they mean by documents. All right. That might be something where it's recognizing a privacy issue. And if there are any documents that get photographed, that you might want to flag them and say, yeah, I don't want to show them because they show somebody's documents and I don't want to make those public. That's my guess. I haven't really read up on that. Okay. But let me go back and include, oops, don't want to move that. Include both folders. Okay. Let's go at exposure issues. Okay. And let's see what it rejects. All right. And it rejected 2. And those are 2 that I've rejected as well. All right. So this one here, obviously, the exposure is bad on the subject, okay? But this one isn't. If we look at the subject is properly exposed, but for some reason, it flagged this as being, you know, incorrect, okay? So again, my thought is if I am going to use a tool that is supposed to make my job easier, okay, and I hand over control to all of this to the machine, is it going to select images to be discarded or not brought forward to the client based on some, formula that it's using? Okay, some algorithm that it's saying that this is a bad photo, all right, based on exposure, all right. And here it is. Had I, in a different situation, I may have picked this and sent this over to the client. Okay, obviously I didn't because the subject matter is kind of, blah. But the problem still exists. Okay. If I hand over control to the machine, is it going to dismiss images that I would otherwise have delivered? Okay. And that is one of my biggest concerns. All right. So here's another event. All right. Let's see. No exposure rejects. Oh, I must be doing good. Okay. All right. But how about misfires? All right. Any no misfires. Obviously, if there's no exposures. All right. The other one that I know I had a big issue with, especially because I do a lot of events, is the eyes focus and eyes open thing. Okay. So let's do the eyes open. Okay. Let's take a look at the rejects. Okay. Here's one that I selected to deliver that it's telling me, okay, it's a reject, but you can see I flagged it. All right, so let's take a look at that. All right, he's looking down at the podium and he is looking down kind of like, well, the audience is over here, so he might be looking at somebody in that front row. But the AI is seeing this as eyes closed. All right. So now the problem comes is like, if I am second guessing the AI and I have to go back through, which, you have the option to go back through and say, hey, you labeled it as a reject, but I'm going to overwrite that. Then what's the purpose of having the AI do it for me? If I'm going to be going through everything anyway, I might as well just make my own selections. Okay. So obviously, let's see, select only photos with people's eyes detected. All right. So these are the new things that were added. All right. Because before it was just either their eyes open or not. Select only photos with people's eyes detected. And select can't tell photos. Okay. So I don't know what that second one is. All right. Is there a difference? Yeah, one image more. One image more. Right here and this one right here. Okay. Which is another one that I selected, but for some reason it's flagging. Oh yeah, because he's looking down rather than looking out. Okay. So anyway, that is the assisted culling. Take it with a grain of salt. All right. Any questions on any of this? All right. And you have the ability to auto stack images and organize results, which, again, I don't really use this feature, so I'm not going to do it. All right. But anyway, like I said, one of the nice things about being able to filter is that you can filter out, your library based on a set of criterias. Right now, I mentioned that I tend to use attributes a lot. So, as we started this discussion on the assisted culling, the first thing that I do is I cull through my entire shoot, and I says, okay, these are the ones that I want to keep, and this other handful are the ones that I want to delete. Okay. Now, I tend to start off the default state of everything is checked. All right. So what I'll do is I'll hit Control A, and I'll flag everything. Okay. Simply because at this point in my career, I have more keepers than rejects. All right. When I first started, even 5-6 years ago, when I was doing events, I would keep them all unselected, and as I went through, I would flag and say, oh, I kind of like this one. I'd give it a flag, because I tended to have more rejects than keepers. Now it's flipped, so I automatically default to a flag state. All right. And then as I go through, if I say, oh, I don't like that one, I'll go ahead and take the flag off. Okay. Then the next thing I do is I segregate the two lists, because I want all my keepers in one folder. And you've heard me say this before. Everything that I'm not going to edit, I'm going to put in a separate subfolder that I tend to call seconds. Okay. All this does is it segregates it so there's no confusion between the two, especially if I have to go into these folders from outside of Lightroom. So if I decide I need to open up an image straight from Photoshop, I don't have to second guess, which one's my keeper, which one's my non-keeper. All right, they're segregated. So I need to be able to filter out the two. So what I tend to do is I'll go to my attributes section, and then I'll come over here and I'll click on the middle flag, which is the unflagged state. Okay. And that filters out everything that I flagged. And then I just click on the first, shift click on the last, and then I'll create my subfolder, and it moves everything out of that main folder into the subfolder. Okay. And then now at that point, I have all my keepers in one folder and all my seconds in another folder. Okay. And then eventually, usually months or even a year down the road or whatever, when I know I don't need any of these photos, if I need to clear up any space, I can just go in and delete my seconds folder, and it trashes all those, freeing up space, knowing that, these are images that I don't need. I won't lose sleep over. Okay. All right. So now we have our segregated folder. These are all the keepers. Okay. And one of the things that was available really early on through this attribute, let's take that off, was the ability to separate between edited images and unedited images. Okay. Which in theory, it's great. All right. I can click here and I can view all my unedited images. All right. The only problem with that is when I ingest all these images off the camera into Lightroom, I automatically add a preset that does some editing for me, whether it's a picked image or an unpicked image. It doesn't matter. Everything that comes in gets that preset applied. So in essence, every image is an edited image. So that flag right there doesn't do me any good, because whether, you know, it's a selected image or an unselected image, they're all edited. Okay. So as I'm going through and editing, if I'm like halfway through my edit and say, okay, well, it's dinner time, or, you know, I ran out of time, I'll pick this up tomorrow. The next day, I can't go in and say, okay, where did I leave off? Let me just check this unedited and pick up from where I was. Doesn't help. Doesn't help. Okay. So that is pretty much a useless filter if you use presets on ingest. Okay. If you want to be able to use this filter option, you got to make sure that your workflow allows you to make the differentiation between an edited image and an unedited image. Okay. All right. Where it may come in to play is if I inadvertently reset an edit. I can click on that, and here, let me see. Did I do anything? What did I do in this? Little highlight, little. I think I did. Yeah, okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reset this. All right. And you can see there's the original. Let's go back to library. All right. And if I click on the unedited, all right, see unedited, all right, this one comes up. Okay. So now I know I need to edit this image. Okay. So keep that in mind. If you're going to use that filter, you need to have a workflow that allows you to use that filter. I'm just going to go Control Z. There we go. I'm just going to undo that. Okay. Oh, didn't do it. All right. Control Z, 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 Z. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. And then, of course, there are, you know, exported status, unexported. So again, if you do bulk exports like I do, all right, you can see, okay, did I miss any exports? All right. If you use any color status, you know, you can filter by colors, all right, or non-colors, all right. You could also go by liked files. Okay, so liked files, this is something that comes in from the web-based Lightroom. When you put up a gallery on a web-based gallery, or if you use any of the web-based Lightroom products, it allows you to like a photograph. That's not available on Lightroom Classic, at least not that I know of. Okay. But it allows you to select when something's been liked, or if something has had a comment attached to it. And again, that's for the web-based galleries. All right. The other thing you can filter by is, you know, is it a still image? Is it a virtual copy? Is it a movie clip, video clip? Okay. And you know, are any of them stacked? All right, or unstacked. Okay. So those are very generic, very simple things to filter by. But where you really can get into the meat and bones is in the metadata, going into the metadata. All right. And this really allows you to fine tune how you're going to drill through your library. All right. And the reason I bring this up is because you already may be aware of these already. So you can filter by file type. I tend to do this a lot. For example, let's see. Actually, let me see if I can find a good example. Flag Day. Yes, here we go. So I tend to do a lot of panoramas. Okay, so this is a panorama that I took. I think it's two images together. Okay, so it'll send it out. It'll do the panorama, and it'll bring it back in, and it brings it back in as a DNG format. Okay, so now what I can do is when what I tend to do is I tend to rename my I tend to rename anything that gets done as a panorama. Okay, but the problem is that Lightroom will append the name pano at the end. All right, at the end of the file name. So you can see this, all right? When it goes through when it goes through Lightroom's panel, it'll rewrite the file name as okay, and it will put pano at the end. Okay. The only problem with that is when I export, when I do an export, okay, I want to keep that number, all right? And I change this number. So I'll change the first one to say Unitas for photography, all right? Underscore. I want to keep that number, so it'll keep the number there, all right? And then, you know, I'll export it to like a JPEG, okay? And that format is what's going out to my client, okay? But because with a pano, we have piano as our last four, it wants to insert it there instead of the number. So what I need to do is I need to go in through Lightroom and swap these two. Okay. So I actually have a preset that will allow me to do that. All right. So it swaps those two so that way I keep that number there. Okay. So because I have a preset, that means that I need some way of very quickly isolating my my pano shots. All right. So what I do is I'll go to file type. All right. And you can see here it says digital negative or my raw file. All right. And you can see there's 100 raw files, but only one DNG. All right, so I know that DNG is now my panorama, okay? And then I'll just go into my metadata. I'll go here, and I'll go to my original file name, all right? And then what that does is it brings it back to the number, okay? And then I will do my pano rename, which will then place the P in front of the numbers. All right. That way I know at a glance that that's still my pano shot and not just a photograph that I cropped to look like a pano. Okay. So that right there lets you know it's a composite. All right. So that little feature is very nice. And obviously you can sort your collection by anything that you want to put in here. All right. What was just added, because obviously Adobe is moving into more AI stuff. All right. In the develop section, it expanded it to add, does it have AI? So any tool that utilizes AI and it gets recorded as part of the process for your image editing, all right, it's going to say, does it have AI? All right. If it used generative AI, does it have generative AI? Now, this is special, especially if like something that's coming in back in from Photoshop, where you can do a lot of generative AI. Okay. And of course, like every time you do like an AI adjustment, and then you continue doing more work, all right, and the software detects that, hey, based on your new edits that you've done, we need to update that AI feature that you selected further back in your workflow. So it's going to, here, let me escape out of here. Let's go to here. It's going to let you know up here with this little symbol here, it's going to turn to that kind of like gold color. All right. I don't know if I have anything that will, no. All right. But that little symbol right there will change to gold. All right. And if you click on it, it'll tell you what has been done to that image. And then it'll show that it needs to be updated, and it'll have a little button there that says update. Okay. But in the grid view, you can now go to develop and pull up all your images, so you don't have to go through and does it have, are there any that require, where is it, that require updating? Okay. All right. And you can see that I have none. Okay. What else is available? Let's see. Let's do masking, has point color, has developed presets. These bottom ones, they're legacy. They've been there before. Okay. Needs an AI update. All right. So that's been added. That's new. It may not be helpful for you, depending on your workflow, but I just wanted you to be aware that those are now in place. Okay. And of course, we have the text base, which is nothing really new, has been added to that. Okay. Any questions on any of this? It's probably a little bit boring stuff for you guys. No questions? Okay. The other thing that has been added, and I haven't had a chance to play with it, is the ability to for Lightroom to now go through your library and find any duplicate photos. Okay. Which, if you are the kind of person that tends to move stuff around willy-nilly and lose track of what you have available, Okay. That might come in handy. All right. I know I probably don't have photo. Let's see. I don't even remember where this is. Give me a
Like
second.
they got one in especially for me.
Oh, because yeah, you move stuff around, make
Yep.
duplicates. Yeah. Let's see. Edit, catalog settings. Let's see, what's it saying? Catalog settings, Lightroom Classic, catalog settings. In the metadata tab, let's see. Oh, it's got the section for assisted culling. All right, and this one here, because it's new, I haven't even checked it, but it says duplicate detection, automatically detect duplicates for all photos. Okay, and then you can learn more about it.
For duplicates, is that a DNG and a JPEG or a raw file? Will that consider it a duplicate or?
Let's see. That is a great question. Like I said, I haven't really played too much around with this. Let's see. View all photos. Let's see.
You have two up there, look about the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. All right. So this is the original, and this is a virtual copy. All right. So in let's see. Okay, where is my why? Okay, it's not. My cursor's not working now. What the heck? All right. My cursor's not working. It's not letting me select anything. All right. I was going to come down here. There should be, oh, right here, this little icon right here. Now, you press that and it's going to, but for some reason, I am now locked out. I am locked out. Why am I locked out? I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I cannot click on anything. All right, so let's restart. Task Manager, Lightroom, end task. There we go. When all hell breaks loose, restart. Come on, load up.
You made it through an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously something's going on here. Where's my task manager? Let's end task there. See if that fixes things. Relaunch. There we go. There we go. Okay. We lost Mark. All All right. Cancel that. Let's go back to Flag Day. There we go. Okay. So we have this little icon here that will look through and look for duplicates. Okay, you can see I haven't used this yet, so it's going to give you this little instruction panel. Photos that look identical or near identical are grouped into stacks. Aha. Okay, so for those of you who like take images in bursts, or like me at events, I might do 2 shots, 3 shots in a row of the same thing. I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. All right, so originals and duplicates. The header will show the current status of duplicate detection along with the totals, how many original photos were found and how many duplicates were grouped. Okay, and then down here, it gives you the toggle to show hidden duplicates. All right, and let's close. Okay, start finding duplicates.
All right. The whole catalog.
Nope. It's folder based.
Folder based. Okay.
Folder based. If you have multiple folders selected, then yes, it will look through. Okay, so no duplicates found. Okay, that's very interesting. All right, and then we can turn that off. Okay. I'm gonna, let's see, let's test this one. Oh, where's the one? Yeah, let's test this one. Detecting duplicates. Right up here, it's going to give you the running count. Okay. So it's detecting 0 originals, 0 duplicates. All right. It needs some kind of little progress indicator, because right now it just says detecting duplicates with no spinning wheel, no merry-go-round, no progress bar, nothing. You know, I think they need to add some kind of moving object, so you don't think that, oh my God, did my computer freeze up? Did the software freeze up again? You know, because it just did on me just, you know, a few seconds ago. Okay, come on. All right, obviously, I think their tool needs a little bit of work, because right now this tells me nothing. Yeah, this is kind of, hopefully they'll make you know, changes to this as they develop these tools. But right now, yeah, this is going to be more frustration than it is usefulness. I would test it out, see if it's worth your time and effort. Okay, so I'm going to stop it. Let's see. Anything that, yeah, I don't have anything that it would consider, you know, oh, these two here might be considered similar. These here may be considered similar. Did it find any duplicates? No duplicates found. Okay. All right, let's try this. I'm going to create a virtual copy All right. So a virtual copy is definitely a duplicate. Okay, so there's a virtual copy. All right, you can see it says copy 1. All right, let's go through. No duplicates found. All right. Show hidden duplicates. No duplicates found. So if you have a virtual copy, I guess it doesn't recognize that. It's going to dismiss it. Okay. So that's good to know. All right. Do I have... Okay, here we go. I have... Oh yeah, this is from the waterfall. I definitely took a bunch of duplicates. Okay, so let's go. Detecting duplicates. Is it going to do anything up here? Nothing yet. It's still detecting. See, without any kind of indicator that it's doing something, it's hard for me to say, you know, is Lightroom still working on it? Oh, wait a minute. I see a little, one more. Okay. Detecting duplicates for, oh, that's a lot of...
You thought it was just doing the folder.
Yeah, wait a minute. I could have sworn it said...
Or folder.
I could have sworn it said in your folder. In the library module, select a folder or multiple folders from the catalog, folders, or collections panel. Select the duplicates. Yeah.
Those green lines, are those all selected folders?
No, those are little color markers that tell me that those images have been done and delivered. As a matter of fact, this one here, done and delivered. All right. So now what's going to happen is these images, these folders that have green, anything that's for a client, those are going to get transferred to a backup drive. All right. So these are all still fairly recent. All right. So the next time I do a backup, all of these that have green will get moved to my backup drive. All right. So, okay, well, it's still locating. Okay, detecting duplicates for, all right. So I don't know why it did that, because you guys saw me work through this. I only selected that one folder. Why it's going through the entire library? Indexing. So 487,000 images so far, or 48,000 images out of 126,000, or 126,000 left to go. Okay, that's...
Detection, right?
Jeez.
Set it up when you're going to sleep at night.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you know. So I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know if it's because it's the first time, because you saw me activate it, edit, catalog settings right there. I activated it here. So I don't know if this, when you first activate it, it kickstarts that process, I wish it had told me. Either with a little pop-up or whatever.
It does say for all photos.
Automatically detect duplicates for all photos. Oh, that could be. That could be. Yeah. So let's click on Learn More and see what it says. Find and manage duplicates. Yeah, no, this is what I read before. All right. Select the automatically for all photo options in the library module. Select the folder, multiple photos. Yeah, see, according to the instructions right here, all right, it says, especially this part right here, in the library module, select the folder, multiple folders, a single folder or multiple folders from either the catalog, the catalog tab, the folders tab, or the collections tab. Okay. I did it from the folders tab. I selected that one folder. All right. And for some reason, it decided it's going to go through the entire thing. If you're using from the first, oh, here we go. If you are using duplicates view for the first time, the welcome to duplicates view window. Oh yeah, we read that. Select start. You can view detection process and the, okay. So it looks like it's a little misleading, maybe. I don't know how you guys read that. I read it as being able to do it on a per folder basis, right? The welcome, yeah, we went through the welcome. It kind of walked us through what to expect. But now it's like, yeah. View the stacked duplicate photos in the duplicates view, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. So you now have a warning based on my oops. How are we doing? Yeah, we got a long way to go. Okay. All right. So let's just, I'm going to get out of that.
You pause that up there?
No, it's still going. I'm going to keep that going. I'm just not going to.
Okay, all right.
Because it doesn't make sense. Yeah, that should have been a little bit clearer. Okay, how do we get rid of? No, don't want to. No. There we go. Okay. You have the same thing for the assisted culling. And you also have the same thing for face detection, which I don't use. All right. How can I get rid of that? How can I get rid of this panel? It's not letting me get rid of that panel. Okay. Okay. Any questions on anything we covered? Those are probably like the biggest things in the latest update. That and camera support. All right. My poor computer. That's going to be running all night with that friggin' stupid thing now. So be warned. Be warned. If you decide that you're going to use that, this is what you're going to expect. It's going to go, apparently, it's going to go through your entire library first, and then you could go through and go folder by folder. I don't know if I like that. I'm not I'm not sure I like that. It should be on a by folder. You say, I want duplicates shown in this folder, nothing else. Let me pick it. Okay. Do me a favor. If you're going to play around with it, don't go into the catalog setting and check mark that first. All right. See if the program will work on a per folder basis without having that check mark. All right. And if you want to know what I mean, do not go into the catalog settings and check that. All right. So keep that off, keep that unchecked. And then let me know if the duplicate thing works. All right. All right. This little icon down here next to the face detect. All right. Let me know if that works on a per folder basis. I'd be interested to know. Okay. So that's your homework. Okay.
See if it does the JPEG or raw
Yeah.
file, and picks those up.
Yeah. Because I'm not gonna know until it's gone through this whole thing. And it's only gone about a quarter of the way through my library. So anyway, so next week, what I want to do is I want to do some editing, do some sky replacement, play around with masks. All right, because the masking feature has been updated a little bit in Lightroom. Let me pull this image up. I know that coming down the line, see, it's slowing up my machine. It is definitely slowing up my machine. All right, can I pause it? Let me pause it for now. Can I pause it? Let's go back. Am I stuck again? I'm stuck again? What the heck? Yeah, I'm frozen again. Darsh Garnet. Okay. So apparently I cannot do anything here. All right. I'm not going to force it. But like I said, they did some updating to be able to get cleaner, more precise masks within Lightroom. Because as you understand, Lightroom does not have the fine tweaking abilities that you do in Photoshop for handling masks. Now, I know one thing that's coming down the pipeline that was introduced in a beta version is they're going to be introducing a slider that will allow you to control the feather of a mask. So that way you can manipulate it a little bit. It's supposed to be, a nicer way of controlling the edges of your mask. So that way you don't get that hard, you know how some masks give you that halo, that really terrible halo around it. This is supposed to be able to alleviate that problem a little bit more. So that's coming down the pipeline, hopefully sooner than later. Okay. But anyway, so we'll play around with masks next week. Because I can't do anything else with this stupid thing. Any questions? No? All right, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to let you know what was new, and that's it.
Thanks, Doc.
All right, guys, stay safe, stay cool. All right, and we'll see you all next week.
Good night.
Thank you for watching Learning Photography with Duck. Brought to you in association with Milford Photo, your local full-service camera store. Located in downtown Milford, Connecticut, Milford Photo offers you a personalized shopping experience. From the latest camera gear to printing and framing services. And, of course, educational workshops to teach you the finer aspects of photography. Don't forget to tell them Duck sent you.